What's up?
How's it going?
I just decided, you know what? You're here. That next song is going to be like 3 minutes and it's juvenile rhymes. I couldn't think of anything that
Who
rhymes
doesn't
with
love
six
juvenile
except
rhyme?
dicks. So,
Sorry, I was turning on my other lamp. How's it going?
so that's going pretty well. How about you? I heard it's
Pretty
pretty
good.
quiet up there.
Yeah, Chicago, quietest city right now. Nothing's
Yeah.
happening. Look away.
Dixieland. All right. Thank you for joining us. Had some scheduling issues in the previous couple of weeks. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
thanks for
actually
having me.
technically still at work, so let me go ahead and sign out of work real fast. Uh, so you've been keeping pretty busy up in that area with everything that's going on, yeah?
You could say that. Yeah, I think you could say that. Between ICE protests and running a campaign that has national attention and trying to make sure our campaign is helping as many people as possible, I'd say it's probably the busiest I've ever been, but definitely worth it.
Yeah. I heard you got a little bit of street action going on with ICE. Something about you guys got gassed and pepperballed. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a video of an agent picking me up and throwing me to the ground that went kind of viral. That was actually the third time an agent has thrown me to the ground. They really like throwing me specifically. But yeah, we've been tear gassed at least a dozen times over the last 6 weeks. Shot with pepper balls. At one point, ICE had snipers on our roof shooting rubber bullets, breaking actually a local business, their window, a second before. They're cool guys.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool unloading non-lethal weapons onto unarmed protesters.
Oh, I mean, we have signs and songs. ICE literally shot a rubber bullet at someone's guitar, shattering it. The crazy thing to me is, like, how emasculating must it be to be wearing like a civilian's idea of what, like a child's idea of what a military badass should be, to have all these toys, all these weapons, and then just keep beating the shit out of civilians, especially women. They love to hit women, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
It's not. It's really not. It's, from my perspective, it's super embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me, and it's embarrassing for veterans. So I can't speak for anybody else, any other demographic, really. It's just, and I realize that ICE is not the military, but I'm 100%
They sure as hell are
positive that
pretending to be.
Yeah, they're definitely cosplaying the things, and I'm certain there are probably some veterans in that crowd. But when this is all over, and it will be over, the next administration full of Democrats with a supermajority needs to just go through and everything that this administration has done to us and our people in our country, it needs to be turned around and flipped onto them. And I don't mean that like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the same to you.
No, we
I
need
mean,
to
like, find
restore
these people.
funding, restore jobs, but just we can't just go back to the status quo. We have to expand it. Like, the reason Trump is in power, like, he's a symptom. He's not the cause of a lot of what we've seen over the last 10 years. And we can't just be like, well, the status quo was working, because it wasn't. But we also need trials. Like, we can't just pretend this never happened. There are so many things that we have no idea are happening that I am absolutely sure will be seen as atrocities in the future.
Yeah. I was just having this conversation in the Facebook page comments, particularly with a poster whose Facebook name is Zachy Bear. And I don't think he's watching the stream, but Zachy, if you are, I want to thank you for that dialogue. We were talking about the status quo as well. And nobody on the left should want to return to the status quo. We need to go past it. My line of argument in that conversation was that we need to get back to the status quo first, specifically because, and the reasoning that I had said it that way was because what we had before with our status quo wasn't great, but we certainly didn't have massive amounts of people being beaten up on the streets and homes invaded, entire apartment buildings invaded, and people being disappeared as much as there are now. Now, granted, we obviously know that, the Biden administration and the Obama administration did deport people, but not on this scale with this much brutality. And going back to where we were before is going to take a massive amount of work, and it's still going to involve a lot of kicking and screaming. So when we get to that point, then just keep on going and do something.
I worry that if we just go right back to the status quo, then we're going to get complacent and the same power holders are going to keep the power. What I always encourage, because like a lot of this is very doom and gloom, like things are bad, but like I'm very much an optimist and very much a subscriber to the belief that like things can be better and we can't just strive for good enough. Like good enough is not good enough. And like our campaign slogan is, what if we didn't suck? And I really mean that.
I remember that last time you were on, we talked about that. I'm not as much of an optimist as you are. I'm jaded and old and cynical and bitter. And I'm happy that people like you are running for office because it gives me hope that the Democratic Party status quo is going to wither and die. One of my biggest complaints right now with all of the Democrats is that not only are they not doing anything visible with tangible results, and I get that they're in the minority, but there's still things that can be done. But I don't see as many of them out there in the streets the way that you are as a candidate. They're not out there.
To be clear, I'm not out there as a candidate. I'm out there as a person. I would be out there whether or not I was running for office. And the first week I was out there, there were no elected officials, not even candidates. The next week, an elected official, actually one of my opponents, joined me. And the week after that, some more of my opponents and like 2 elected officials joined. And then we kept having more people join us. And then 2 weeks ago, some activists and some local elected leaders were able to hold a press conference where we demanded transparency, accountability, and safety. Last Friday, Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin showed up at that facility and demanded to inspect it. They were, of course, denied by ICE. But then we just heard yesterday that this unlawful fence that ICE has erected that endangers protesters, press, and people who are trying to find their family members, that it's finally going to come down. And I don't think any of that would be possible without people on the ground putting pressure. And whether or not I'm running for office, I'm aware of the platform I built with my work as a researcher and journalist. And if I can apply pressure to get other leaders to come out, even if it's like, I didn't know about this, or I don't want to get shown up, or I realize the moment is different now and people are actually excited about candidates that will stand up, whether or not it's authentic. I don't care. We need our leaders out there. It makes everyone safer and it leads us closer to accountability.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. I want to see politicians out in the streets fighting alongside candidates and people who aren't running for office, out there sharing the burden. And they don't need to get shot with rubber bullets and tear gas to be authentic, in my opinion. Just being out there is enough. And maybe even being there. No, I think that ICE would be like, oh, look, it's AOC. Let me pop her in the face with a rubber bullet, because that's the kind of dicks that they are.
I mean, like, look, I very much subscribe to like everyone has different risk levels and you need to be able to assess your risk level. Like at these protests, I am very much willing to put my body on the line. I do not expect everyone to do that. Everyone has different circumstances and conditions. For me, I have a big platform. I'm Palestinian, but I look like this. So our legal system will probably like, in terms of excessive force, like unlawful attacks by any administration, like all of those things are much more dangerous for someone that looks like the people ICE is snatching off the street. Although now they're just snatching anyone, for like brown and black folks. And so I am willing to do that, but I absolutely think that everyone has their own ways, their own skills, their own strengths, their own weaknesses that make them suitable for fighting back in any other way. We actually had 2 volunteers, one of whom now works for us, who came to one of the protests the other week and didn't say hi because he didn't want us to worry. But he and his buddy handed out water to people on the corner, like away from where ICE was being most aggressive. But as people were getting tear gassed, we needed that water to flush out our eyes. And we wouldn't have had that if he wasn't there handing them to any of the medics that came out. For some people, it is checking on your neighbor. For some people, it's going out to the No Kings protest. I highly recommend you go out if you can. But resistance and fighting back and all of that shit, it matters. And you all have your own ways. And someone in the comments just said, as a brown-skinned American, I love that Kat acknowledges skin color makes a difference in how these bigots will treat you. It absolutely does. And it's really frustrating, particularly not seeing like white male leaders, especially Democrats, taking that step because they know that they have more privilege in these positions. I know last year when I was trying to advocate for Democrats, just like talk to Palestinian people openly. Like I've been Palestinian my whole life. I know how the political system works, but like there is nothing that will convince my family to vote Democrat more than just like acknowledging our humanity. And I was like, look, I know that it'll be more convincing or it'll be less controversial for you to talk to, you know, Miss Dye Job over here than it will for my cousin in a hijab. And we're kidding ourselves if we pretend that's not right.
Speaking of snatching people off the streets, you know who Robbie Road Steamer is, right? The personality Robbie Road Steamer. Yeah. He was at Portland, and I saw the video, and it just broke today that he's been detained by ICE, and he's literally just out there. For those of you that don't know who Robbie Road Steamer is, he's a viral sensation on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and he dresses in a giraffe onesie, and he's got this speaker hanging around his neck, and he's playing music, and he makes up lyrics on the spot, and he's out there like, you know, like fuck ICE, whatever rhymes with ICE, and he doesn't necessarily get in their faces, but he will walk up to. I saw him walk up to DC cops who were pretty chill, and he just starts rapping in front of them, and some of them started laughing, and a couple of them just kind of stared at him. Guy was just doing his thing, and like I think 4 guys walked out of the facility and grabbed him and pulled him back in.
There's such snowflakes, for real. It's so pathetic. They see anyone doesn't like us as wow, that's violence. Like they see being clowned on, which they deserve. They're clowns. And actually that's insulting to clowns. But like we've had times where we're just like, quit your job, man. Like you're such a loser. You're not going to get a girlfriend that way. And they get so mad. And they're like, these are the, you know, violent protesters. Well, we're literally like priests and just civilians sitting there singing songs. There was this very inflammatory article from some right-wing news outlet talking about my presence at one of these protests. And it was like, she was pictured sitting on the ground singing "We Shall Not Be Moved" while knitting. And she also had a respirator on her, which is like, yeah, because we were being tear gassed. But like,
those knitting needles.
That's what you're worried about?
Terrified of knitting.
Like you got like 26-year-old grandma over here. Chill out. If that's what you're intimidated by, you are a fucking coward.
So what do you need in Chicago from people who are not there?
Support, both like emotional, but also monetary. There are lots of families. There was a family in Evanston, which is in my district. It's like literally just a few blocks from our campaign office and where I live. And it's 3 men were attacked by ICE, 2 were abducted at a Home Depot, and 1 got away. But he's terrified of leaving his home because he could be abducted and disappeared and we won't know where he is. And so all three of these families have lost their primary breadwinner for just existing, trying to find work. The Trump administration has said, like, out of the thousands of illegals they've detained, only 10 have any criminal history. That apartment building they rappelled into in the middle of the night only had, and this is their accounting, of course, like I take everything they say with an ocean's worth of salt. But even if we're taking them at their word, only had one gang member, alleged gang member. Like, that is what they said, even if we are taking them at their word, and that is all the proof they could provide. And so when you see these GoFundMes for families, that type of support is really important. It makes a tangible impact right now. If you're wondering about some things that you can do in your own spare time, know your rights pamphlets, flyering your neighborhood, putting up posters, put them up in coffee shops, hand them to businesses, especially ones in the service industry. Also, if you have a 3D printer, we've had a lot of volunteers printing out ice whistles. So if you have a whistle, blow it 3 times short, like 3 short pumps to say that ice has been spotted, 3 long ones to show that ice, to say that ice is actively detaining someone so people can come out and support. They fucking hate those whistles. And because they're cowards, they run away. We have seen time and time again that when communities stand up to ICE, like in neighborhoods where, especially when white neighbors get out of their homes and they're like, shame, get out of here, they get into their cars with their masks still on and drive away because they know that this is not popular. They know that what they're doing is bad. I saw in like 5 a.m., because we go early on Friday mornings to bear witness, my friend and I, ICE officers driving into work. Almost all of them had out-of-state plates, but it's also dark outside and they're still wearing full masks and sunglasses coming in. I just want to stress, like, it's terrifying. These men are actively committing like crimes against humanity, but they're also cowards. And you can make a tangible difference in your community and ours by making sure people know that and know what to do if anything does happen.
I was going to say, nobody wears sunglasses at night except Corey Hart, and he's the only one that's
and
allowed.
The Blues Brothers.
Okay.
I'm in Chicago here, man.
I can accept Blues Brothers.
All right, you got me there. So if people wanted to go to Chicago and protest, would that be helpful? Like
to protest ICE?
To protest. Yeah.
Look, if you want to come protest the Broadview ICE facility, the Broadview Processing Center, there's been a vigil there every morning for almost 20 years, every Friday morning from 7 to 9. That is when the largest protests have been. We need support. We need community support, whether that's, we had someone come really early in the morning and just bring a bunch of tea and then go to work. We need medics. Medics are always in short supply. The Broadview Processing Center, 1930 Beach Street in Broadview, Illinois, is committing crimes against humanity. Like, let me put it this way. This is a processing center, so people are not supposed to be held for 12 hours, for more than 12 hours. Reports have shown people are being held for days or weeks at a time. And because it is a processing center, they don't have beds, they don't have hot meals, they don't have access to hygienic facilities. We have heard reports of dozens of men in a single cell, of grandmothers and pregnant women sleeping on concrete floors. One morning at about 5 a.m., I watched as detainees were marched into a van and they were wearing the same clothes they were detained in. And we don't know how long they had been there. And when someone goes into that facility, a lot of times they just disappear. We have no idea where they are. I went for a vigil earlier this summer, like about a month before these protests really started, after several activists were arrested. And it was just a nondescript building. When I came back a month later for the weeks of protests we've been doing, they put plywood over the windows. And if they are willing to assault a congressional candidate, a little blonde woman, I'm like 5 feet tall, who clearly is unarmed, to throw me to the ground in front of press vans, knowing people are filming, knowing people are watching, if they're willing to tear gas us, if they're willing to drive a van through us, if they're willing to do all of that, what are they doing behind those doors? And that is why we are there. That is why everything that we've dealt with, it sucks. Like every Friday morning, I have this knot in my stomach. You can feel your throat constrict when you get out of the car. But who gives a fuck? That doesn't hold a candle to what the people in that facility are going through. There is a reason they won't let elected officials in, and there is a reason we are out there protesting. I've been out there on Saturdays. Any equipment I can bring besides water, first aid supplies, and snacks. Yeah, masks and goggles are good. Someone gave me a full face respirator, which was incredibly effective against tear gas. You can get like the ones with the pink circles right here. Extremely effective. The tent that has like medical supplies and drinks and food can always use more, but it's been really cool seeing people bring more and more each week. Like the first week that I was there, the week before there was like this little vigil and 6 people got arrested. And the next week it was 30 of us. And now there's like a tent that is providing community aid right now. So if you are able to do that, yes, thank you.
One thing you mentioned as far as what people over there need for support is if people can to donate. Do we have? Is there like a specific pipeline to get donations to families who need it that we can shout out here? Or
a lot of the families that put these up, it's like through GoFundMes that are really anonymized because of targeting by ICE. The Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights does a lot of great stuff for providing legal support and reaching out to these communities. I would recommend, if you see something pop up, and this is not unique to Chicago, this is happening all over the country. So if you are in a separate community and you see a family that is struggling, you see it come up on your timeline or you hear about it, consider donating to that. And as for like my campaign, we use our office as a mutual aid hub, and we have our office welcomes anyone except ICE. And so we have coats and food and toiletries, books, baby formula, diapers, deodorant, shaving cream, like tons of stuff. And people can just come in and get it. Narcan. And so we have a lot of immigrants come in because they know that they can come in. And even if if our Spanish speaker on staff isn't in the office, we'll pull up Google Translate. And so if you are in the Chicago area, especially if you're in the Rogers Park area and you have anything to donate, please consider bringing it by, like material donations, consider bringing it by our campaign office at 7016 North Clark Street.
Got a question about the detainees. Are the 1,200 detainees mentioned weeks ago still missing?
The ones from Alligator Alcatraz. I haven't heard an update. Let me see.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I haven't heard anything either.
Yeah. What about
looking
that up? We got a question about drop-off spots and food bank collection spots as well.
Yeah, I mean, as for I can't speak for everyone, but for the protests at Broadview at 1930 Beach Street, you can't miss the tent. You'll see it. It's right off the road. And there's just a big tent that's sourced from the community, and you can just drop stuff off. And then if you want to drop anything off at our campaign office for our mutual aid hub, which serves anyone who needs it, especially immigrants and the unhoused, that's 7016 North Clark Street in Rogers Park.
Boom. Unrelated question.
Mm-hmm.
What webcam are you using? Because it looks phenomenal, and I'm supposed to have this. This is supposed to be a 4K camera.
I am using like a full ass camera that my creative director let me borrow, because we started doing live streaming for our for fundraising instead of this thing called Call Time, which is like pretty much the most ubiquitous practice in politics. It's elected officials and candidates spending usually at least 4 hours a day calling rich people and asking for money, and everyone does it and everyone hates it. And when you ask why you have to do it, the answer is like, well, you have to. And I think that's a stupid answer. So we've been doing live streams and they've been going really well. And our whole setup is sourced from volunteers and people that have generously donated their supplies. And so, yeah, this camera is actually, I think my creative director is lending it to me. I think it's her father's. Their father's.
It's like a DSLR camera?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. This is supposed to be a 4K camera, but StreamYard, which is the platform that we use to stream, I think we're only paid up for like 1080p. They want like
I did switch
lots
to
of money.
OBS. I used to be on StreamYard and I switched to OBS. I don't know how to use OBS. That's why I have a producer that helps me with everything. Our former interim research director, now live stream producer, Asha, is awesome.
I use OBS to do machinima. I could use it to stream to YouTube. The benefit of StreamYard is that people can log in as a guest to do the stream, and then we can also simultaneously stream. Like right now, we're streaming to Doug's Political Train, and then to the Sons of Liberty YouTube and Facebook. And if I paid like $150 a month, which I'm not, I could stream to like Instagram and TikTok at the same time as well.
The one thing I miss from StreamYard that I don't have on OBS is being able to see the total number of viewers at any given time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I do on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that number. I don't like looking at it because like sometimes it'll be like 30 and then other times it's like 400. I'm like, what is the magic formula? Like, I don't know how to
How am I
science
doing?
this at all. Right now we're at 120. Well, we were at 126 and then you asked and it immediately dropped to like 119. I don't know if that's relevant or if there's delay.
I
like,
take it back. I take it back. Sorry.
Yeah, I tend to like, I see exactly where it is. And so I avoid looking directly at it.
From what I can tell, by the way, on the alligator Alcatraz thing, according to Al Jazeera, at least 2 weeks ago, they still have not been located. They're still missing. So, from what I can tell. So.
I wonder if all those flights out of there had something to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Just you can see through flight trackers when they're about to do deportation. It's God, just and any politician, especially any Democrat who is not saying that ICE has to be abolished, fully abolished, should not be a Democrat. Like, you're not for the people. This is a secret police. We existed for years in the modern world without them. We do not need whatever the hell is happening here. It's awful. It's just, I don't think a lot of our leaders understand the real world impact. Like, they have siloed themselves, and sometimes not on purpose. Like, running for office is hard, especially running for Congress. This is hard. It is the most exhausting thing I've ever done. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And unless you are constantly flexing empathy like a muscle, that muscle atrophies. And you can think about ICE in the abstract, but it's only when you're playing tug of war with a man's body to keep him from getting abducted inside the facility, which I have done, or you're being run over by a car, which ICE has tried to do, or you're talking to a woman who has no idea where her husband is while she's 8 months pregnant, that you realize the real world implications because it's so fantastical, because it's something that would never happen here. This could never happen here. Like, a lot of times it's not people's fault that they can't understand that it is happening, but it's on our leaders to be taking that step. And I've tried to show that through my campaign, the type of leader I want to be. But I wish that this was less of an exception and more of the rule.
There's a whole lot of shit that I want to say that I can't, because, you know, the second that somebody sees it and hits that report button, or even like tags the FBI in my comments or some shit, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
you might not have wanted me on here." The DHS quote posted me like.
I would love for the discovery. The discovery phase is going to be wild. Like, let's dance, motherfucker.
It's so crazy.
I have to
please
temper my instinct to like wreck shit, because it's just the whole the guy spent 10 years in a military uniform and deployed overseas and like shot bullets and stuff. And it's just seeing war zones here in this country for me is like that whole fucking 10-year period just feels like a complete waste. And I resent that. And like that just amplifies. And libs of TikTok is probably watching right now. And they're like, look at these violent guys on the left. They can't control themselves because they've done that before.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you're doing. You mind if I plug the campaign a little bit before I have to go?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Please
I
do.
got the
Please do.
URL down there.
Yeah, I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois. I am a researcher and journalist who covers the far right, and I believe in tangible change right now, not dangling it like a carrot for after Election Day. I have a track record of fighting and winning against the right, and I'm up against opponents that are taking money from AIPAC, that have, had 15 years of name ID, that have been, a lot of them are good, like just very nice people. But I think we need not just a fighter, but someone who understands the moment we're in. All the people I used to cover now run our country. So if you want that type of person in Congress, you can chip in at catforillinois.com. We're a grassroots campaign, no corporate PAC money, no billionaire money, no Republican funded PAC money, including AIPAC. And if you want to join our volunteer force, you can join our Discord at discord.gg/catforillinois.
Oh, you have a Discord.
I do. We have 3,600 people on it so far.
I'm on like...
Guys, thank you so much for having me. I got to go take a nap because my cat woke me up at 6 a.m. But it's been a pleasure as always.
Anytime you want to come plug your campaign, send me an email and let me know, and I will make space for you.
Thanks, y'all. See you later.
Thanks very much for coming.
So,
yeah, sorry I showed up late.
Jamie?
Well, sorry I showed up late.
You showed up.
I did show up. I'm also sorry my dog started barking. He's been an asshole today.
That happens.
I took him to the vet. I took him to the vet, and he immediately shat on the floor. That's the kind of day he's decided to have.
You got it. I feel like you deliberately waited till you saw me take a step. You're like, I got you now.
No, I was looking at that asshole.
He's like, I'm gonna close my eyes and go to sleep, and you can suck it.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, it's nap time. It's nap time. So,
the reason that I asked about boots on the ground is because we actually do have people in Chicago. I'm not going to say how many or what they're doing, but for the benefit of people who are watching, there are 3 cities right now where ICE is a big problem. It's a big deal. It's Memphis, Portland, and Chicago. And we do have people in all 3 of those cities who are organizing and attempting to organize to protest. And I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, if you're in the area and you want to join our efforts, Sons of Liberty does have a Discord server. And that Discord server is our entry point for the Sons of Liberty as a social media and activist organization. So if you're not already on our Discord, you definitely should be. And the vetting process does take about a month. That's going to involve you being active on our Discord. You can't just show up one day and be like, hi, I need to be vetted so I can go do the things. No, it doesn't work like that. We have placed a great deal of value in OPSEC and making sure that our people who are vetted are protected from shenaniganry. So you need to put in the time, get to know the people in the community, and don't be fucking weird. Like, you can be weird, but don't be fucking weird.
Like, there's like a good weird.
Yeah,
You want a good weird.
There's even like a moderate, like medium, world's okayest weird.
Right.
There's like and it's a big middle ground, and then you got a stark line, and there's just like bad weird. Don't be bad weird. Anyway, get on there and hang out and shoot the shit with people. Don't fucking pick a fight with somebody else, and just be chill. Get to know the people. If you want to step up and volunteer and say, hey, you know what, I want to help out and contribute to the leadership process and decision making process, then by all means do that. Get vetted, and then get on Signal. Signal is where we have more chatting about stuff. So there you go. That's how this process works.
Just because I saw it in the comments about where to actually like chat on Discord and whatnot. I mean, there's tons of text channels in the actual server.
So many.
Each region, there's actually too many. We need to cut some. There's actually each region has its own category of voice chats and text chats and whatnot as well, so you can get to know people in your state or in a broader grouping of states and everything there. There's also like a regular members are holding like a regular Friday check-in like voice chat as well. You can always hop in there. So there's opportunity to get in there and chat. It's daunting at first, especially for folks who aren't
all right,
like used to it. But
this right here is your off-topic chatter. This is your bullshitting around, and you go in there, say shit like, y'all motherfuckers are live right now. Oh, Jamie's typing. I can see my house from here. All right. So you got off topic, and then there's a members only jackets because I'm old and I think that shit is funny. And there's an announcement channel for those of you that want the PVC vinyl patches. We have a channel for that where I'll be giving you instructions on how you can place an order for that. You go to regional access so you can get your regional access permissions. These are all outlined in the instructions, by the way. There's news channels, suggestions. If you're a veteran or you're actively serving, even though you don't have a DD-214, you can go into the DD-214 Blanket of Freedom channel, and there's a creative writing forum for people that like to write stuff. And then I guess you can post your outdoor, if I can get the damn thing to work. Oh, that's defunct now. My bad. Wrong channel. Anyway, so yeah. And then there are regional sections. There's a section for help or resources. If you like gaming, there's a little gaming section. And there's a section for our upcoming D&D game that's taking place on November 15th, which is a Saturday. And that's enough for that. So that's our Discord. Quick, down and dirty. Just like your mom likes it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry that I could not help myself. All right. So that was a pretty quick show, and I want to thank everybody that tuned in to see us chat with Kat Abughazaleh for a short period of time. Kat is understandably very, very busy with everything that's going on in Chicago, plus running her own campaign. So not only is she running a campaign, but she's also out there in the streets doing the damn thing. Yeah. That's what is your local politician doing?
my local politician is sucking the orange fuckface's cock. So,
Oh yeah.
and you know what, Lloyd Smucker, if you hear this, fuck you.
Yeah, Lloyd. What's his last name? Smoker?
Smucker.
Oh,
Like
Smucker.
the jam.
Like the jam, but singular, not Smuckers or
Yeah.
possessive. It's just Smucker. What is a Smucker? What the fuck is that? Oh, you know what? He's probably from the Smucker family that made the Smucker's jam. Smucker.
I don't want to have to
Oh,
switch
you know,
jam
it's-
brands, man. Don't make me think about that.
Smucker. Are there other brands?
I
I
don't know.
like PBJ sandwiches, but I don't pay attention to the jelly. I just go in there and
There's like Welch's. There's like, I don't know,
Welch's.
fucking
Yeah.
Weiss quality brand. Well, yeah, I said it because I heard your wife, but
McDonald's packets that your grandma saved.
Where did the name Sons of Liberty come from? Well, you see, in 1765, or prior to that, 1765, there were a bunch of white dudes hanging out in Boston and other areas up there, and they were pretty mad about all the taxation without representation, and what they determined was tyranny, which was essentially what we would today call fascism or authoritarianism or whatever. So they formed a secret club. It's a secret club, and they called it the Sons of Liberty. Now, even though the name is the Sons of Liberty, there were also female members within this group, and they were a sort of clandestine, subversive group. And also they did fuck shit as well. Like the Boston Tea Party, that was the Sons of Liberty. But they did other things, like they burned down a couple of houses belonging to British politicians and military governors and whatnot. And I think they beat the crap out of a couple. You ever heard the phrase getting tarred and feathered? That was an actual thing. They would literally paste hot tar onto you and dump feathers on you. And it was actually kind of violent and
it's
brutal.
kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Really fucking
Hot
meta.
tar is not like, when you're like, oh baby, pour that hot candle on me. No, it's not like that. So when people today tell you that our forefathers wouldn't have done this, first remind them that they started a fucking revolution and embodied redcoats, but also prior to that, they didn't just dump tea in the harbor, which was in and of itself pretty expensive, because by today's standards, I think it was several $1 million worth of damages to the British government that was already stressed and taxed, trying to keep the colonies under control. But they also beat people up. I don't know if there were any homicides, but
I'm sure there probably were. It was a war.
Oh, they were about fucking 11 years later. Anyway, so that's where the Sons of Liberty name came from. Where they got it from, I have no idea. But that's where I got it from, was that original group. And I did that very specifically to A, troll people, but also B, to kind of take the name back from the people that were like, oh, you can't be a patriot and also be a liberal, or whatever dumb shit they used to say. They don't say that shit no more. At least not to my face, anyway. So that's our question for today. Jamie, you got anything?
Nope. I was just
All right.
at least trying to catch the end of the stream. So.
Well, thanks for coming to sit on the panel with us and talk with Kat.
Of course.
Well, let's see. Before I go, our streaming schedule. Let's see. All right, so Monday, October 20th, and I only booked this today. We have Carlos Alvarez Araños from American Opposition. He will be on a special live stream Monday. Yeah, he's a pretty dapper dresser in real life too.
Oh yeah,
saying
he's awesome.
Oh, that's right, you were there.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? Tuesday, October 21st at 7 p.m. We've got Chris Volpe running for Senate in Ohio. And then October 28th, Tuesday, 7 p.m., we have rescheduled and finally rebooked Monty Mader. If you don't know who Monty Mader is, and if I'm mispronouncing that name, sorry.
Monty Mader should be a good one. She does a lot talking about Christo-fascism and the like. So it should be an interesting one.
Yeah. That's going to be a good show. And And then November the 4th, we've got AJ from Squid Tips.
Oh, that should be a good one too.
November the 11th is Veterans Day, so we're not booking any guests unless they're veterans. So I'm going to reach out to Richard Ojeda and Bobby Jones and some people like that who have been on that are veterans and have our veteran admins and whatnot doing stuff. And we'll just probably drink. I don't know.
Isn't that what we did last time? Or for Memorial Day, we just got kind of drunk on stream.
Yeah, I think we did actually. Now that you mention it,
I'm pretty sure I had a crayon.
I remember that. Yeah, wasn't it candy though? Wasn't it like a candy crayon or something?
No, it was real.
It was an actual real. And then Saturday the 15th on our Twitch channel, we're doing the charity fundraiser for Stack Up, playing D&D all day. So yeah. Jamie ate an actual crayon. I thought it was one of those candy crayons, like you can buy crayons that are candy, but evidently it was a real crayon. So
What color? It was red, of course. What other color would you eat?
blue, pink.
I need a pink crayon.
Right. Well, that is our show, as brief as it was. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thanks for watching us with Kat Abughazaleh on the stream. Even if you just turned out for Kat and not for us, that's cool. I don't care. You still showed up. So yeah, there we go. All right. Y'all be safe. Happy hump day. 2 claps and a Rick.
Woo!